Good evening. Are you ready? Come on now, are you ready? You wanted the best. You got the best. The hottest event in the high desert. It's time to ignite. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to introduce tonight's MC and first igniter. Please welcome to the stage the Chamber's favorite DJ with ProFlow DJ Services, Joseph Flores.
Oh, yeah. All right. Hey, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Joseph Flores. I am going to be the MC for tonight's event. Hey, before we get started, I just wanted to remind you, okay, please avoid from eating in the sanctuary. That would be wonderful here. That's pretty much it, my announcements here. But we're going to get this show going on the road here. As I said, my name is Joseph Flores, and I want to say welcome to tonight's 2025 Ignite High Desert. Who's ready? Woo! We are ready. I am ready. I love this event. It's a powerful, wonderful time to be here and wonderful time to learn. Now, the word ignite, it's actually a verb, all right? To catch fire, to cause, and to energize something, to inflame some sort of emotion in you, okay? To trigger some sort of new passion, new idea, or new desire, and bring it out into life. Ignite in life means to spark a passion, a purpose, an energy, an inspiring, intense feeling, and put it into reality and put it into action so the world can see what you're passionate about. You know that word passion? In that word is pass. Pass on what you are passionate about. Because if you don't pass it on, it's going to end up dying and burning out. So make sure you are passing on what you're truly passionate about. Oh, again, my name is Joseph Flores. And what Ignite means to me, it really means to just bring into life and bring into reality and showcase what you really enjoy. I have done Ignite about 3 times, so I am a 3-time Igniter, okay? I've spoken on things on just motivation, on health. I'm also a personal trainer and martial arts. I've been doing martial arts for almost 20 years. And so I know what these guys are all going through. This is not an easy format. This is a very challenging, very hard, okay? But it's a great way for them to challenge themselves. So what you guys are going to be seeing tonight and expecting tonight, you're going to see a variety of wonderful speakers from different backgrounds, different topics, okay? Different walks of life. And I want you guys to really hear and listen what they're saying. So they're just not going to be rambling, okay? There is a whole process. Each one gets 5 minutes. Fast-paced PowerPoint presentation with 20 slides, all changing within a 15-second time frame. So that's pretty hard. Did you know that the Ignite has been going on for almost 19 years? It started out in Seattle with a bunch of geeks talking about geek things. I don't know, like AI, which is really cool. That's not geek stuff. That's really awesome. But anyways, since then, it's grown and moved over 6 different continents, 350 cities, from New Jersey to the White House, San Diego, Egypt. After this, there's going to be an after party at Mark Crefield's house, okay, the president and CEO. We're going to be moving over there. So if you need his address, you know, he has it right there for you. This is Sam Thad, the gentleman you see right here, who brought Ignite here in 2015. So, and it's been such a wonderful and powerful, yeah, go ahead. Applaud, yes, go all the way in. Perfect. So it's been such a powerful and wonderful event. As you see all these wonderful speakers here in this group of names, we have wonderful speakers here. We got 2 youths in here, one that is 13 and one that's 16. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool here. Okay, I want you to catch this awesome saying by Nelson Mandela. The youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow. The youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow. So these kids are going to come out here and just speak what's on their heart. And after we hear the first half, you guys will get a nice 30-minute intermission where you can go outside, mingle, talk about the topics and everything you've learned from the first half of the Igniters. And please go out there and enjoy all the vendors. Thank a vendor, share a business card. We got some awesome food. I saw some of you guys eating already. You know, I'm sure they got seconds and thirds and fourths. So make sure you help yourself while you're out there and get to know one another and just continue to enjoy the night as we return back to the second half of it. And we also want to thank our sponsors. So let's go ahead and give a round of applause to all of our sponsors. You know, without them, it would be very hard to do an event like this. So all of these sponsors, they all know, like, this is such a powerful and wonderful event for the community. And for you out here, this is your job. Turn off your phone or put it on silent, okay? To listen, to adhere to what they're saying. In this group, you might not agree with everything, and that's okay. But I want you to be respectful and to cheer for everyone once they've done their speech. Because this is hard. It's hard getting in front of people. People would rather fight an alligator than come up and talk to a bunch of people, okay? So it's very challenging, and they're very excited to share. And this out here to the speakers in the back, in the front, get ready. Be motivated. Get encouraged. You're about to share something that could change someone's life out here. So be excited. Audience, are you ready? I want you to get ready. I want you to be excited. I want you to be hyped up. Oh yeah, as we welcome our first Igniter. So let's give them a round of applause. Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah. I'm in the church, and my title was part-time hooker. There was some hooking going on in the church. I'm here to talk about my passions. My passion for fishing is my sport. Crocheting is one of my sports, and hooking, and souls called for Christ. Fishing started with a stick and a string, and women have been fishing all time. It doesn't take a pole. You can catch it with your feet. You can catch it with anything. She's a hooker. Woo! I'm going to talk about patience. Sometimes you don't go to catch the fish. You go to just reflect on life. People ask, Purple, how do you do what you do? I go to the lake and I chill and I talk to people and I just go there and chill out. Well, it doesn't take any age to go fishing. Those are my grandkids. I have friends at the lake. They fish. They're on walkers and wheelchairs. I have a thing. If you teach a kid how to fish, they won't have no money for drugs. You don't need a fancy pole holder. You can use anything. You can lean your pole up against a tree, an ice chest, a chair. Those are pole holders, but you can sit in a chair and wait for that wonderful, wonderful hit that you're going to get that bite. Oh, yeah, I'm equipped all the time to go fishing with my mini fishing pole. All the time, I'm ready to go. And you know, the night before, it's me. I'm anticipating catching a big one. I'm not counting sheep. I'm counting 1 fish, 2 fish, 3 fish, and in my dream, I caught my limit. But patience again. The next day when I arrive and all these people are there, I'm telling you, it's elbow to elbow. The pelicans are waiting to take some fish, and then I have these little duckies waiting to eat your snacks with you. It takes patience, patience, patience. Well, I can say I've earned my title at the local lakes. Purple lady, catfish lady, I'll fish some people. I've got my share there at the local lakes for over 20 years. I tell you, it's been a great time, and I love it, I love it, I love it. But you know what? When you're at the lake, and you're out there talking, and you see that bell ring or that pole move, boy, these bad knees and back, I get energy like I never had before to get pole. Sometimes it's just the enemies behind the line, but guess what? I got them! Look at that. All of those fish jumped out of my hands and into some hot oil. Hallelujah. Guess what? A fish's worst day is a Friday. What about when you lose that pole in the water and pay money for expensive lures? I've actually seen people go in for those poles and try to get them. Or someone lose your fish in the water. Honey's been in the water. Isn't that right, hubby? He lost my fish one time in the water. Yeah, it is true what they say. They don't want to take women with them fishing because they may outfish them. That is right. I have outfished some people at the lake. But what do you is? Watch it. She's a hooker. So what do you expect? My other part-time passion hooker is crocheting. You use hooks to crochet. I love crocheting. Crocheting keeps me from unraveling, y'all. It does. Keeps me from unraveling. Keeps me calm. Oh, yeah, I'm working on my PhD. Project's half done. Guess what? This little bunny may not make it for Easter, and I have a permit to carry, and I don't need a license. I know how to use it, and I have the balls to prove it. My doctor said I need more fiber, so I went to the yarn store. I turned yarn into things. Wouldn't you say I got enough fiber? Teddy bears, hats, shoes, angels, pumpkins. You name it, I got fiber. Hooked on Jesus, a relationship. The hook symbolized fishing for souls. And in the Bible, he said, follow me. I'll make you fishermen of men. He also told his disciples, put down your nets and let's fish for souls. And that's what I've been doing. I love praying for people and fishing for souls. It is one of my callings. I've been doing it been a member of my church for 30 years. But patience and faith is understanding that things will make. We don't want to wait. We always want everything right now. There's a spirit of right now. I got to have it right now. He said, wait, I said. And be patient with your loved ones. Do unto others as you want done unto you is the golden rule. That is Matthew 7 and 12. Your seniors, your babies, disabilities, our teenagers, spouses, be patient with them. God is not through with them yet. Sorry I couldn't answer your call. I was on another line fishing and working with my 9mm and praying for you. You pray for me because this purple light of mine, I'm going to let it shine everywhere I go. Peace.
Well, good evening, High Desert friends. I am so excited to be here with you tonight. I initially really struggled to come up with something to share. In fact, about 4 weeks ago, when Jenny from the chamber called to ask if I was still going to be an igniter, and I was the only one who had not signed up for the critique session the next day to prepare for tonight, I had no topic in mind at that point. I just kept thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to share? I have no idea. But I brainstormed on the phone with Jenny for about 9 minutes. I still wasn't exactly sure where I was headed. But 5 minutes later, I was inspired, and that caused me to embrace and share something that I'm pretty natural at, and I'm here to tell you I'm just winging it. Now, winging it can be defined as improvising and tackling situations without prior preparation. You've probably heard plenty of phrases like, I'm just flying by the seat of my pants, or I'm rolling with it, or even, let's play it by ear. Now, to some, it may seem as though winging it could be considered unprofessional or lazy, but it's actually a valuable skill for navigating uncertainty and spontaneity, as well as a source of unexpected success. Now, for those of you that don't know me or my family, I've been married to Landon for 14 years, and we have 4 amazing kids. My husband is here in the room tonight, and I called him after landing on this revolutionary topic, and he said, well, you've been doing that your whole life, so that sounds about right. We both had a good laugh, and I got to work on not winging a talk about winging it. Now, essentially, winging it is allowing yourself to go with the flow and make things up as you go rather than having a rigid plan or script. Now, don't hear me wrong, this doesn't mean making it up in a way that embraces dishonesty. It's just about not having to always have everything in order. Many people in creative fields or any industry that requires innovation have found that their best ideas come when they stop overthinking and just let things flow. Much like tonight, if I had kept overthinking, I would have been up here talking about rubber ducks or fast fashion. Now, maybe a future Ignite, because I still have a lot to say about those two things, but the key is about finding where improvisation meets preparation. A little planning gives you a foundation, but the willingness to wing it allows you to adjust when things don't go according to plan. I am a firm believer in the fact that winging it is a leadership skill that allows you to embrace a surprise performance, a spontaneous conversation, or an impromptu meeting with ease. It also allows you to be seen as a more reliable communicator, knowing that the person who's put you in charge can count on you to get up and knock it out of the park. It also fosters creativity, adaptability, a willingness to think on your feet. Winging it also encourages self-confidence and a growth mindset. Maybe saying yes to lead in environments that you wouldn't normally say yes to. You are able to make mistakes and you emerge stronger on the other side. Now, in business or professional environments, I wing it when I need to host a quick informational meeting, give a last-minute presentation, or change a process and welcome a group of customers. I've winged it when giving a presentation in a less-than-ideal, loud environment, all but while being willing to adapt and keep people engaged. I even winged it a few months ago when I was asked to MC at the Valley Morning Insight, and our president and CEO, Mark Creffield, did not get me the script until the night before. Now, moments like these are exactly when winging it becomes a viable strategy to respond and knock it out of the park with limited preparation time. I get it. For you planners in the room, much like my sweet husband, you're probably looking at me like I have two heads, and you're not understanding how this relaxed approach could be functional. I see that this would be really difficult for you to lean into, but I encourage you to find things both personally and professionally that allow you to practice winging it in your daily life. It's a great life skill, and I've found that things just usually tend to work out. For example, here's me winging it almost 10 years ago as a new mom. We were at a church small group, and my oldest daughter had a blowout. I did not have a change of clothes, but fortunately, our pastor's daughter had Build-A-Bear clothes. Nothing like thinking on your feet. So the next time you find yourself in a position to just wing it, remember, it's not about being unprepared, but it's about being ready to embrace whatever comes your way with confidence and flexibility. I'll add, it doesn't hurt to carry an extra pack of baby wipes or a change of clothes in your glove box. Thank you, and have a great night.
Man, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful because it could have been me growing up in South Central. It could have been me in that 6x9. It could have been me 6 feet under. I remember that promise that I made God to have that grace. Just a young kid with a dream, asking God to give me a chance. Things got hard, it got rough. Growing up where I grew up, just a little scrawny kid, a follower, trying to be like the rest of the guys, but I didn't let that define me because of this man right here. 90 years old, my dad, Papa Campbell, serving in 3 branches, taught me well, and now I'm able to still take care of him today, and I'm so honored because of what he taught me. But this guy right here, my cousin, Stanley Kirk Burrell, you guys might know him as MC Hammer. He gave me a front row to what it was to greatness, full access. But the same thing that he was teaching me then, I found out that it wasn't just about being on the stages, which I was good in the arenas. I was just as good as a life coach or a mentor, changing lives, saving lives, and helping young people. So that's what we stepped into. Though I represent Ford, yeah, Sunland. Listen, I'm not just about the transaction. Check it out. I'm about community. I'm about building them relationships. When I'm right there, I'm talking to them about financial literacy because that's who I am. And right here, proud, 4 terms as president, NAACP, proud to serve, volunteer. Listen to me. It's not easy. And I just love it. And so that's who I am. Look at me right here from South Central. Listen, all the way to the Sheriff's Exchange, coming out of the system and now having a word in the system. Sheriff Dyke is asking for input and being able to sit at the table again to make that impact. Divine intervention, president, father and son journey, a father of 5, oldest 37, youngest 23. That's my pride right there, talking to fathers and touching them and helping them. Look, working with several organizations, Deltas, AKAs, Group Economics, P&P. The list goes on, surrounded by highly educated women. We have one thing in common. The mission is our community. Look, right here, math, science, English, taking these kids from here to here. These kids went highly above. When we first touched and talked, they was nervous as all outdoors. But this is why I do it. Daddy's girls. My 3 daughters right here, 2 sons. Listen, that's why I fight the way that I fight for my community, because of the ones that's coming behind me. And even if I'm talking to leaders, insurance, real estate, it doesn't matter. It's still about one thing. It's the impact. When I transition, what did I leave behind? That's why I do it the way that I do it. And this woman right here, 30 years in law enforcement, my rock, my road dog, my partner. Look, she don't even have to do it, but she ride with me. She's my ride or die. That's my queen right there, Miss Lakeisha Campbell. As we're at events and as we stand side by side, check it out. We show up for the community. They know us because we show up so we can blow up. It's not about us. It's about the community. Listen, get you a good woman. Keep that good woman by your side. And then we go into colleges and we're able to tap into them. A kid that was just a dreamer. Now I get the opportunity to show others how to dream as just a dreamer. And one thing that we know, me and Mrs. Campbell having 5 kids, one with 2 degrees, another one working on 2 degrees, one with a 4-year degree from Hampton University. The one thing that we know is about that education. And so coming up in South Central, I knew I had to put the gas on them. And so even though with all of this serving, we serve 4 adults, we work full time. That's my brother, my 2 parents right there, 80 and 84. And so we still do that. And so I don't know who I'm talking to today. It don't matter where you started. Been on stages with 30 and 40,000. It's not about where you start. It's where you finish. Look at the stage that I'm on now as y'all checking me out. But let me tell you, I heard the phone ring. Bring. And guess who it was? It was God calling me to International School of Ministry, graduate in 2013 with my dad there, showing my dad I made it. The best thing that ever could have happened to me. Look, if you don't know who God is, get him in your life. I just got one thing to say to y'all. Keep grinding, keep shining, and remember, the best is yet to come.
July 14th, 2023, a day that shattered my world. Sirens wailed, paramedics arrived, their faces grim. My husband, my anchor, my best friend, was in full cardiac arrest. When they couldn't revive him, when those words slipped from their mouth, "I'm sorry, ma'am. We tried everything." I heard the depth of my world. My legs gave way beneath me. I thought, in that agonizing moment, I thought, this is it. Grief has claimed me. I thought my soul slipped away with him, leaving me nothing but an empty shell. But grief does not have to break us. Even in the deepest darkness, there is a spark, a glimmer that refuses to fade within us, something we can choose to embrace no matter the weight of the loss. And that is what I'm here to share with you today. How I found the courage to rise, how I navigated through the storm of grief while holding on to the world around me, when I felt as though I was walking through this world as a ghost. The first year after Frank passed felt like a blur, a fog I couldn't see through. Sometimes I would forget he was gone. But then a song would play, a smell would hit, a memory would flash. And I was back reliving that pain all over again. Sometimes I forget he was gone. There's a song by Garth Brooks. It's called For a Minute There. For a minute there, I thought it was you. For a minute there, my prayers had came true. What I wouldn't give for just a minute there. And just like that, hope would flicker. Grief is just like that. Waves that crash when you least expect them. One thing that kept me from drowning was writing. A dear friend gave to me a journal titled Letters to My Husband in Heaven. I didn't know it at that time, but I'd be pouring out my heart into those pages. It became my lifeline, a way to communicate with him when I couldn't speak out loud. It was the only way of connecting with him, in the raw, unfiltered place where I can grieve and heal. Months later, I went back and I reread those letters, and I dropped to my knees. I couldn't remember half of those things I had written, but in those pages, I saw growth. I saw my journey unfolding, even when I couldn't feel it in that moment. Writing became my path to healing, where pain transformed into strength. Each word was a step towards healing, a quiet place where my soul can breathe. Through writing, I found peace and began to rebuild. Interactions with others, they're complicated. People don't always know what to say, and neither did I. At first, I tried to hide my grief, but after time, I realized I had to be real. I couldn't mask it. Through my grief, I could be a source of strength for others. And so, I kept showing up day after day, even when the weight felt unbearable. One thing that helped me push forward was returning to my passion, which is cooking. I've always loved creating in the kitchen. To me, it's a form of art. But after Frank passed, it was my form of therapy. Experimenting with recipes, feeding others, it gave me purpose. In every meal, I was pouring out my love, even when I didn't have the words to speak. Through my cooking page and my pozole, I've connected with so many people. I realized that grief doesn't have to be the weight that pulls us under. It can be fuel. And I chose to live through it, not for it to live through me. My reason for living every day is simple. It's my family, my friends, my community. They need me. They're my reason for rising. They're my heartbeat. And even though Frank is no longer here, his love is a part of my foundation. But here's the thing. I'm not here to live his legacy. I'm here to build my own, rooted off of love, courage, and resilience. Grief tried to break me, but it did not defeat me. Yeah. I'm here today to tell you, my friends, the storm ahead is not easy. It's going to be hard, but you can rise against it through the light and our God. Keep pushing, my friends. Thank you.
Audience, we live in a broken, bleeding world with pain and suffering that's all around us. In fact, if you were to look up and down the row, you'll find those who've recently been bereaved or experiencing catastrophic things within their family and friends. We don't have to go around the world, but if you do, you'll find that there are those who are experiencing earthquake devastation, some of them left as orphans without the resources, the home, and the comforts that they were accustomed to. Others have been devastated by war that didn't ask for. Their homes bombed out, their businesses bombed out, the schools bombed out, and everything they have is in disaster. But for some others, it's natural disasters that come sneaking in, unexpected, and beyond the scope of the abilities of the people to deal with them, whether it's tornadoes, floods, hurricanes, or fires. Help has to come from the outside. There must be someone, someplace, some organization, like the Samaritan's Purse, a Christian organization that ministers and shares in 100 different countries around the world. They provide whatever is necessary, tent villages and even hospitals that are fully staffed with the medical technicians and doctors and equipment and medications and all that you need. They operate because of the love of many who participate to share and make it possible. There are those who come along beside them as volunteers, helping to clean up the devastation that has been out there, whether it's a tornado or a hurricane, and they engage. You and I might have wanted to do that. We would have liked to have been there, but we weren't able, but we are able to share resources. And so we are able to give to help those most devastated to be able to have hope. But not everybody is able to have hope. Sometimes it seems that their hope is shattered, broken into pieces. The city of New York was that way in the 1890s. They had a horse problem. Horses dead in the street, manure piled 40 feet high if they could find an empty lot, rivers of urine flowing down, and the stench was unbelievable. Outside of New York, there was a source for help. It was a group of young people who envisioned a horseless carriage, and together they began to provide something that would no longer need a horse, and the city of New York's problem was solved. Henry Ford wanted to make it possible that the average family would be able to have one, and they would enjoy the benefits of travel. Sometimes it's Olympic athletes that experience hopelessness. Joni Eareckson was an aspiring Olympian swimmer. Her father had been to the Olympics, and she was hoping she would too. She was in the Chesapeake Bay, and it was low tide, and she dived off the platform. It was so low, so shallow that she broke her neck, and her body became a quadriplegic body. She couldn't take care of herself at all, and all of her hopes, all of her dreams were shattered. And in ER, friends came along beside her, even when she wanted to commit suicide, but couldn't. And they encouraged her to know the love of Jesus Christ. And from that, she had new beginnings. She began to see things differently. She learned the skill of holding a brush or a pencil or pen in her mouth, and public speaking and sharing that hope does spring eternal for those who have another perspective that comes to us through our Savior. She met a man named Ken Tonda. He proposed, they got married, they published books together, and they formed an organization called Joni and Friends, reaching out to thousands and thousands of people like her who had been devastated. Right down the street, we have a place called the ER room. And there are people dedicated to provide and to give whatever is necessary for our comfort and to bring hope to our brokenness in our lives. Hope always comes from somewhere else and reaches down to us, and we have a good shepherd. He comes and he brings us to himself, and he leads us in green pastures beside still waters, restores our soul, and leads us in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And even if we walk through the darkest valley that there is, he walks with us. Our cup overflows with his goodness and mercy. His love fills our lives. And even if we behave like a dumb sheep, which occasionally we do, I do, he comes and gives us another perspective and says, hope springs eternal when you look to me. He is my life. Is he yours?
As you go through life, you will learn that life shifts a lot. At the age of 13, the first car that I learned how to drive was a 5-speed. I didn't know that in life that will show me how to shift through situations that may happen. Driving a 5-speed, it teaches you that life shifts. You can be in first gear of your life, then all of a sudden, something happens and you have to move to second gear. Things continue to happen in life, then you continue to shift through the process of life. And sometimes you have to always be reminded that the way you're not shifted by life is you have to be deeply rooted in Christ. The deeper the roots, the harder you stand, and the less shifting you may have to do. But sometimes in life, you run into these things called potholes. And if you live in this city, they are just about everywhere. But as you know in life, you will hit these potholes, and it takes you through a bump of something where you have to start over. We know as we go through life, we end up on these things called these turnabouts. The first time I approached a turnabout, I was scared because I thought I would continue to go around and around. But in life, that's what will happen if we don't shift to another level. And as life begins, journeys moves, and this requires small steps. Things are not going to happen magnificently overnight. You have to take one step at a time. And as you're taking those steps, remember, each step is a shift in life. Try saying that 3 times fast. You have to remember to shift gears every time something happens in your life. If you do not shift gears, you will find yourself not planning ahead, but being stuck in the very place that you are in. The more you shift in life, the next level you're able to go to. But if you're comfortable staying in the same places, you can never move ahead and you will never begin to grow. As we look at the butterfly, we notice it starts in this small cocoon, but it continues to thrive. Why? Because it shifts in each level of the process. So every time something happens in your life, shift, because you're going to have to endure whatever may come. Life is hard. Life is something that you have to be able to move through with strong endurance and not get stuck. You have to fight your way through the heavy waters and the ways of life. You have to fight your way through people. You have to fight your way through trials and tribulations. But one thing you must remember, you have the endurance to make it through. Every time you shift, there's another opportunity ahead for you. The more you shift, the more opportunities you will encounter. Don't get stuck in the same place. Shift to the next opportunity in life and remind yourself how much power you actually have. You have to know that you have the power to move. You have to know that you have the power to succeed. You have to know that you have the power to make things happen in your life. So as you're shifting in life, be better than you were yesterday. Don't get stuck in the past. Don't get stuck on the people. Shift out of their lives, shift out of their ways, and continue to move forward in where you are going. One thing I learned, and my husband is an Eagles fan to the heart. Sometimes you have to soar above the people, fly like an eagle, and leave the rest behind. There is one thing that we always have to remember. When you reach it, reach back and bring somebody else with you. This is about shifting everybody's life in the times that we are in. It's about building. It's about encouragement. It's about lifting each other. Because in this life, everybody is on a roller coaster ride. You can be up today and down tomorrow, or you can be constantly going around in the same circle. But remember, in this life, no matter how low you think you are, one day you will feel like you're floating on top of the world. And even when you think you're floating, you still need to shift. Because even when you're at the very high peak of life, the mindset can change and make you have to shift again. So remember, as you're shifting gears through life, keep your mind focused on the good things. Keep your mind focused on the things that build your character, that build your life, to give you strength and knowing no matter how hard life gets, remember in the end, you shifted and you made it. Thank you.
Current CDC data shows that teen girls across the United States are engulfed in a growing wave of violence and trauma with record levels of feeling sad or hopeless. 7 in 10 have low self-esteem. This causes anxiety, depression, and other issues. Nearly 1 in 3 high school girls reported in 2021 that they seriously considered suicide. This is up nearly 60% from a decade ago. 3 in 5 teenage girls reported feeling so persistently sad or hopeless almost every day for at least 2 weeks that they stopped regular activities. So, what can we as a society do? The Surgeon General, American Pediatrics, is saying that we just have these issues are at proportional, very serious. It's a national emergency. So what is it that we can do? In partnership with, in partnership with Partners Against Violence, we collaborated to do a Let's Reframe Beauty project. This was done at Barstow High School, working with the teens there. So, in working with them there, what we had the teens do was to address the issue, analyze it, and challenge the unrealistic beauty standards. This is something that they saw as a real problem. And with kids being on social media like they are bombarded with unrealistic standards. So what we did is they got together and they first of all, made collages of, they looked for what represented unrealistic beauty standards, and they put collages together. And this we had at a conference. Then the teens were invited to do a True Beauty photo shoot. And this is where they would create collages of things that were beautiful to them. So these are some of the messages that we got from some of the teens, things just to remind you of what is beautiful about you. So we have Allison here. One of the things that she said is it's important to leave the past behind. Because if you're stuck on mistakes and everything that you've done, that can affect how you feel about yourself. So leave the past behind, commit to do better, and move forward. Paul here says, don't depend so much on the approval of others. If you're not always looking for the approval of others, you will look to yourself. What is inside of you? This is Iris. She said, find what's beautiful to you and enjoy it now. Because now, the present, that's all we have. That's all you have is the present. Emerson, discover and live your purpose. Believe in yourself, even when others don't. And she likes the words of Eleanor Roosevelt that say, do one thing every day that scares you. Tatiana, you were born to be real, not to be perfect. So, be who you are. Stop striving for perfection, but who are you? Israel reminds us, don't be a copy. Be the original you were created to be. You were created to stand out, not blend in. So what we had was a conference where all the young people came together. It was a community conference where they shared their ideas. Their collages were there as well. And this helped them build their self-esteem and self-confidence as well in making this presentation. Now, one thing that's really important is to educate yourself as to what's going on. The Social Dilemma is a Netflix documentary that I recommend parents, adults see. Teens need to see it well because it does expose the dangers of social media. And here are some wise words of wisdom from Ralph Waldo Emerson, and also Dr. Seuss. But one thing I would like to leave you with, we all came into this world an original. So many become copies. Be the original that you were created to be. Thank you.
All right, we're ready to go. All right, who's been to our ED before? You know, I think everyone here has, and you know, in the ED, we always hear cries of, "Where is my doctor? When is a doctor gonna come see me?" You know, we have a national physician shortage in this country, and it was when I was a young boy, my mom had to go to the ED, or the emergency department, for a serious medical emergency, and it set me on this path to want to pursue medicine to directly solve that issue. And so I had spent years in my medical training, and this is kind of a chart here of how long it takes to go from a pre-med to a fully licensed physician. Even from where I stand today, I'm not a doctor, but it'll take 10 more years to get to becoming a physician. And while I was at UCLA, I spent time shadowing physicians, volunteering in Ronald Reagan Medical Center, and doing research on atherosclerosis, which is the condition that my mother had. And the reason why I'm here today is because I want to talk about a very critical piece of medical training, which is residency. So residency is the gap between becoming a medical student, graduating, and then becoming a fully licensed physician. It takes anywhere from 3 to 5 years, and it's always done at a community hospital. So it was very interesting when I got the opportunity 2 years ago to build a residency program at St. Mary Medical Center. And so when I started in May 2023, I was working with doctors in the hospital, our staff, and our leadership to develop this program. And as of April last year, we got our initial accreditation and began recruiting medical students who are about to graduate. And so throughout this process, which started in fall last year, I'd been looking over hundreds of applications. They're very highly talented medical graduates who have gone through academics, as well as community service, as well as incredible research. And we've gotten to this point, and I'm proud to say that we've accepted our first class of 10 residents who will be arriving here in July. And so we're really proud of this, and I want to share that they'll be here for 3 years in their internal medicine residency. We want to train and retain them here in the high desert. But this brings me to a point where 2,000 people applied to our program. What happened to the other 1,909 people that applied? What happens to their legacy and their hard work and compassion? There are tens of thousands of medical students in this country that are applying to residency right now that have extremely great extracurricular backgrounds, academics, but not everyone will make the cut. And it turns out that on the other side, there is a serious gap in physician coverage in the whole country. So as the population grows, we're gonna see a higher and higher need for a doctor. And so what gives? There's gonna be some sort of bottleneck here. Medical students are dying to get into medical school. Patients are dying in the hospital waiting for their doctor. There's gotta be some sort of bottleneck going on. So in this role that I have, I found out something very, very interesting, which is that Medicare, the thing that funds old people's health care, is actually the thing that funds every single residency program in the nation to the tune of $15 billion. And so one of the key issues here is that Congress in 1997 voted on a law to actually artificially limit the number of residency slots in this country. And we have 5 years to build all of the residency slots within our hospital. And so the clock is ticking. It already took us 2 years to build this internal medicine residency program. As we continue to create more and more programs at this hospital, at St. Mary's, we anticipate that we have a very small window to work with. And this sheds light on big institutions like UCLA, where I went, and USC, which have tons of residency slots when they were created in the 90s, but they've expanded in the past 20 years, and they haven't been able to expand their slots since then. And so this is a huge call to action for us, and I know that now we have legislators in this room. This is a serious issue where we need to advocate for more residency slots in this country. I fear for the worst in our future of healthcare. You know, private companies like Amazon are taking over with things like One Medical. The privatization of healthcare could lead to things that we don't even know will happen in the medical field. And it's so important that we can work today to reverse this issue of long wait times, long appointments, by advocating for more residency positions in this nation. So again, my name is Henry Fan. Thank you, and let's get started now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Heather Smith, and I'm here to share with you a story about language and literacy in San Bernardino County. Now, our story has twists and turns, ups and downs, and very much like Choose Your Own Adventure books, we have an opportunity to change the ending of our story today. These are the main characters in our story. The most important ones are our littles, those babies, those little ones that we're learning to read, and all the supporting characters are the adults that interact with them every day, all of you. Now, our littles grow up, they go to school, they learn their ABCs, and they start to learn to read, but for some of them, those letters and those sounds, they're not making sense. They struggle, and when they get to the end of that third grade year and they take that big test, we're finding that they are not doing very well. Some of those kiddos move on to high school, and about 17 out of 100 of them don't graduate from high school on time. They're continuing to struggle with language and literacy. And of those, some become justice involved. And about 70% of our folks that are justice involved struggle with reading. They're reading at about a fourth grade level or about a 10-year-old's level. And unfortunately, this poses a problem for us, right? But instead of looking at it from that perspective, I'd urge us to look at it as an opportunity. Let's work together to change the narrative for all of our littles. So what I want to do today is I want to talk to you a little bit about how you, every one of you in the audience, are indeed a teacher. You're probably thinking to yourself, I don't know how to teach reading, Heather. I don't know how to do that. But I would encourage you to take this journey with me and follow along as I'm going to help you see how easy it is to be a language and literacy teacher with kids. It happens every day, multiple opportunities, and I'll bet that you're already doing some of those things every day with the kids that you interact with. The first thing we're going to talk about is talking. We want to talk to our kids before they're born. When they're in mama's tummy, we want to be talking to them. Every time we have those language acquisition opportunities where we're sharing vocabulary, it's so important. We want to play with our kids, those silly games that increase their imagination that kind of drive us crazy when we're tired parents. Those are foundational experiences for our kids as they're learning language and literacy development. Every time we give our kids an opportunity to have a hands-on experience and explore the world around them, that just is increasing their opportunities, right? It's giving them an opportunity to work with you, talk to you with you, and learn about the world around them. And finally, my most favorite part is reading. We want to instill a love of books with our kids. That social interaction that you get when you talk to kids about what they're reading, what they think is going to happen next, how that story is making them feel, those are all critical pieces of language and literacy development. On the slide behind me, you see what's called a book desert map from Unite for Literacy. The darker the orange, the less access families and children have to high-quality children's literature. And to me, that's a problem. It's hard for us to expect our families to do what we need them to do, and we know that they want to do when they don't have the resources, right? If they don't have access to books in their home or opportunities to read with their kids, it's hard for them to do that. And this is where Footsteps to Brilliance enters into our story tonight. F2B, as we like to call it, is an absolutely free, 100% free English and Spanish opportunity for kids to get on and read hundreds of books, millions of books, play literacy games, and have writing activities. Imagine the difference that we would make in that map if you all had an opportunity to read for 15 minutes a day on Footsteps to Brilliance. Our partner project is called Learn With Me. This is on Hulu. You can stream it on YouTube. You can watch it on your local PBS station, as well as on learnwithmetv.org. It is a bilingual children's educational program that gives an opportunity for kids to learn both English and Spanish. So your call to action tonight is to make a commitment. Join me in becoming a literacy ambassador, no matter what your role is, whether you are a teacher, a grocery clerk, a gas station attendant, it doesn't matter. You have the opportunity to change a child's story. And so I encourage you, play, talk, sing, and read every chance that you get so that we can make sure that all of our children's Choose Your Own Adventure story has a happy ending. Thank you.
So a couple of years ago, I began to ask myself this very big question. Like many young adults, I was curious about who was I at my core. And I started to make a list of everything that made me me. So there were so many different parts of my identity that kind of came together. And for starters, I am a daughter of God. I'm a wife, I'm a writer, I am an aunt, a cousin, I'm a friend, I like some good reality TV. But the thing that stuck out to me the most was that I'm a sister. And I'm an older sister. I've been an older sister for 24 years now. And it's made quite the impact on my life. So I thought I would dive deeper into this conversation with myself and see what came out of it. And that's kind of where the story starts. In the October of the year 2000, my parents brought home my baby sister, Teresa. And my life changed tremendously. Even at 4 years old, I remember looking at her and thinking, oh my God, how am I gonna go about adoring this person for the rest of my life? At the age of 5, my dad turned to me and said, you're in charge. And that did wonders for my ego, because I was a boss. I was gonna make sure she knew I was in charge. It was a good time. But then I remembered what that could do for me academically and professionally. And truth is, it made me this responsible, level-headed, mature person I like to think that I am today. It's really allowed me to set myself on a path towards success. And it's been nice. I've been able to acquire multiple degrees. I've gotten the chance to serve alongside some incredible teams and community partnerships. And I was doing my thing. I was happy. I was engaged. I was really living out my own dream. Until I wasn't. Because then I started to battle with these feelings of, I want to do better. I want to achieve more. I want to think quicker. I want to produce faster. I was exhausted, and I just wanted to go after more and more. Ultimately, that led to burnout, and I was really doubting myself for a couple of years there. Every decision I made, every choice, every word that came out of my mouth, I wasn't sure of who I was. And I was in this constant battle with perfectionism. If you've found yourself dancing with perfectionism, you know that it has this sneaky way of whispering to you that it's exactly what you need in order to get ahead, in order to do well in life. And you know more than I do that it's quite opposite. You end up feeling paralyzed by fear. Ultimately, I turn to my sources of support, and I'm blessed enough to have some of the most incredible friends and family that are able to pull me out of those moments and remind me what's worth it. But there's this one person who's always been a guiding light in my life for over 20 years now. And that brings me back to Teresa. She is way too smart for her own good. And so oftentimes she shares these little nuggets of wisdom with me, and I thought I'd like to share them with you guys tonight. So these are 3 lessons from a little sister. Lesson number 1, don't take yourself so seriously. I would do just that. And I remember one time she turned to me and she said, you know, if you're always taking life so seriously, it becomes way too serious. And that was just common sense. I looked and I was stunned. How could she produce that thought? And I was searching for that thought my entire adult life. She reminded me it's okay to laugh at yourself. When you say the wrong thing, when you put your foot in your mouth, when you mess up, just laugh at yourself. At least you tried. Lesson number 2, you will never be able to please everybody. And that hit hard for me. Not because I wanted to please everybody per se, but I just wanted to do right by the people that mattered. What she ended up telling me was, you can't be everything to everyone. You can only be yourself to the people that matter. If you're yourself, the right ones will show up and they'll stick around. And the best part about that is you got them to stick around by being yourself. It'll feel good. Lesson number 3, and it's probably my favorite lesson, do it scared. I remember so many times, so many opportunities, so many things I didn't say because I was nervous, I was scared. And she reminds me constantly, do it scared, just do it, just get it done. There's this saying, life begins where your comfort zone ends. And I think of my sister all the time. She's so brave. And I think she's brave because she has this innate sense of faith. She's constantly reminding me, you're gonna be okay, we're gonna be okay. She has saved my life in so many ways, and I am so thankful to be her older sister. So if you are a younger sibling out there, keep doing what you do best. And if you're an older sibling, constantly stressed out, and you need a chill pill from time to time, remember these 3 lessons. Don't take yourself so seriously. You'll never please everybody, and the best news is you don't have to. And do it scared. Don't become paralyzed by your fears. You deserve more. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Josiah Malesio. I am a 13-year-old 3D printing nerd, and I create masterpieces just like this guy and everything right here. I've been 3D printing for 3 years of my life since I was 10 years old, and this is all thanks to the company called AnchorMake with their AnchorMake M5 3D printer. This 3D printer has the best features of any that I've ever used because it's much more powerful and smarter than a classic Ender 3 3D printer and way more smarter than your classic paper printer that you have at home. Because this thing, if you don't know how a 3D printer works, it heats the filament up, which is a kilogram, it's a certain kind of plastic, through a 220 degrees Celsius nozzle and puts it onto a 60 degrees Celsius 3D print bed, cooling the model as it gets higher and higher, finishing up the model. If you don't know what a kilogram is, this guy took around a kilogram of 2 spools to make, and a kilogram is 22 Kit Kat bars, 5 iPhones, or 1 tub of ice cream. Yeah, this is what goes on the 3D printer every single day I use it. And in order to make things like these Iron Man helmets and flexible toys like these guys, I use the modeling softwares like Fusion 360, Autodesk Tinkercad, and Blender, and even Photoshop. And the reason I use Photoshop is because you can turn a 2D sketch into a 3D model. Like this guy right here, the Dummy 13, his foot, his head, his arms, his sword was all once a 2D sketch that was then extruded upwards and with ball joints and put together until you can get a model that's moving like this. Because it's like clay in the computer. Because when you're working with clay, you have a cube or a cylinder or something that you then move around until you're satisfied with the way it looks. That's the same way with 3D modeling, except it's in the computer. Something and you move it up until it works and you're satisfied with it, and you create stuff like these flexi toys right here that you see on screen. There are hundreds of different models with the ball joints going back and forth and in and outside of each other that just move around the way that they're designed to. And this is the Dummy 13, like I said, and on the left side of the screen you see what it originally starts as, just a bunch of pieces on your desk or on your floor in your bedroom. But then you can turn it into this masterpiece, something that can't be created like anything else with paper or something. And you can just move around the joints, like up and down, and pose them, and make stop motions and movies with these things. And I love the way that these things move around, and these are helping me create a prosthetic limb one day. You might be wondering, why do I have the dream to create a prosthetic limb? And that's because I always saw the smile that was put on people's faces when they had a prosthetic limb, when they noticed that they could move their arm or their leg the way it was intended to be moved. Again, on the left-hand side, you see the Dummy 13's arm, and on the right-hand side, you see the real deal, the real prosthetic arm. And the way that they both look really similar in terms of you have a joint right here in the arm and it moves back and forth, and then you can move the limb naturally. But you can't just do that with 3D printing. You need to bring things in like a Raspberry Pi where you can then route the wires to the mind. And like with the arm, you have a wire that works as a vein or a nerve going to the mind. And it's telling it, because we don't think when we want to move our arms. We just do it. It's natural. But when they want to do and move their arms, there's going to be the wire of the Raspberry Pi thinking, I need to move my arm. Okay, move it up. Move it back down. And this is a real case and a real scenario of a prosthetic in use in the movie Dolphin Tale, because the dolphin was dying from not being able to move without its tail because it had lost it. So then with 3D modeling and 3D printing, they were able to create a model for a tail so the dolphin was able to live life to the fullest. This is the industrial size 3D printer and filament that I'm gonna need to create these prosthetics with the movable joints and everything one day. And this is where I wanna get to. This is my dream. But right now, I have to start somewhere lower. And I'm selling these prosthetic, or not prosthetics, these flexi toys and these dummy 13s at vendor fairs to gain that experience with people and be able to learn how to design and create stuff with prosthetics. And it doesn't just end at dummy 13s or flexi toys or prosthetics. It goes into the movie industry by creating something like Iron Man's helmet or C-3PO's red arm or Wakanda tech from all the Marvel movies, the Infinity Gauntlet. There's a lot of stuff that's made with 3D printing and even animatronics by putting that Raspberry Pi that I talked about earlier into the 3D model of a suit. You can then create stuff like Jaws and E.T. and even stuff from theme parks like the dinosaurs. You can create anything. It's unlimited possibilities. And as you can see, 3D printing has not just had an impact in my life, but an impact in the world itself. And one day, I want to become part of that impact. So I want to thank you guys so much. One more time, Josiah Malesio, 13 years old, 3D printing nerd, and I'm out of here.
Woo! Oh, yeah. Hey, I hope you have all enjoyed the first half of tonight's Igniters. Who's here having a good time so far? Oh, yeah. We're going to have an awesome second half here in just a little bit. Right before we go on break, okay, because I know some of you guys are hungry, okay? It smells good. Okay, right before we go on break, I want to recognize some of our sponsors, all of our sponsors, and our food vendors, okay? So our Ember sponsors are Daughter's Voice Ministries, Inc., Apple Valley Communications, Burtech Waste Industries, Inc., Victorville Disposal, Elementum Services, Farmers Insurance, Clinton Alfred Agency, Global Credit Union, High Desert Sports Foundation, oh yeah, ISU RMAC Insurance Services, Nexa Mortgage, Saddle Rock Reverse Mortgage, and Steno Design Studio, Inc. Let's give them a round of applause, yes. For our Spark sponsors, we got Amazon, we have Blue Star Properties, Inc., Mitsubishi Cement Corporation, Mojave River Watershed Group, Options for Youth Public Charter Schools, and Rawford Production. Let's give that group a nice round of applause. For our Flame sponsors, we have Advanced Disposals Co., City of Hesperia, and Cross-Eyed Cow Pizza. Our presenting sponsor, First District Supervisor Colonel Paul Cook, retired. So let's give it a hand one more time for all of our wonderful sponsors. Nice big round of applause, all of our sponsors. And our food vendors for the evening, we got Chick-fil-A, El Pollo Loco, Farmer Boys, Kona Ice of Victor Valley, Los Amores de Julia, Olympic Flame Burgers, and Sizzler. Oh yeah. So go ahead, take your 30-minute break. Please enjoy. You go ahead and exit and enjoy the exhibit mingle, and we'll see you back in about 30 minutes. All right. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Yes, did you guys have a good lunch, appetizer? Man, that food was amazing. It was amazing, all right? Hey, before we get started, okay, with our second half, Please, 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 nice, loud round of applause, okay, ladies and gentlemen. Representing our 1st District Supervisor, Colonel Paul Cook, retired. Please welcome District Director Kimberly Messon. Oh yeah, here she comes. Bam. Nice round of applause. Thank you, Kimberly. Yes.
Thanks, everyone. Good evening. So I just wanted to start off by actually saying I'm glad to see Mark here because he ditched our leadership class this morning. I just figured he didn't want to see me twice in a day. So really nice to see you, Mark. And as you can tell, I'm winging my speech. But it is a pleasure to be able to sponsor Ignite tonight. For the past couple years, we've had an opportunity to do so on behalf of the supervisor. And it's just a great way to spend time with the community, with business members, and just residents, and be able to come out, enjoy an evening, enjoy good food and good laughs, and you even learn something new. So on behalf of Supervisor Colonel Paul Cook, we're happy to be a sponsor, and if we could ever be of assistance, please feel free to contact our office. We're more than happy to help. Have a nice evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you to our presenting sponsors. All right, everyone, let's get ready for the second half of Ignite. Woo woo!
Go that way. There you go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very short but small, smidget, and fun-sized history of comedy. Comedy unites us as human beings. It allows us to make light of ourselves and others and reminds us not to take life so seriously. What, really, dude? Seriously?
That was a good one, too.
Right now? Man. Comedy is timeless. It makes the uncomfortable hilarious and the controversial silly. So remember to laugh.
Life is a comedy to those who think, a tragedy to those that feel.
Okay, Shakespeare. Oh,
John de la Bruyere.
I could have sworn it was Shakespeare.
The classic period, the father of comedy, Aristophanes. He brought light to controversies in his time and was the first to taunt politicians and the elite, like Cleon getting dogged on.
I'm General Cleon. War is great. Strategy is stupid. I just kill my men until I win. The Dark Ages. No one was laughing during the Dark Ages. Achoo! Brother? Brother! Brother, no! Bubonic plague, am I right? Good times.
The Renaissance.
Moliere! He used slapstick and complex dialogue. He turned comedy into a fine art. He was a satirical genius who utilized tragedy and comedy.
Oh. The Age of Enlightenment. William Hogarth, creator of political cartoons and graphic novels, filled his work with puns, jokes, and Easter eggs. The central idea, bringing things to our attention that normally we would avoid.
I asked ChatGPT to give me some fire puns, and it literally gave me puns about fire. Yeah. Not cool. Oscar Wilde, a master of epigrams and paradoxes.
His comedies had complex ideas and deep themes. I had to sleep outside because I said I wouldn't love her if she was a worm.
In the words of Oscar Wilde, women are meant to be loved, not understood.
Chaplin's most famous quote, wow, what a way with words. A master of physical humor and visual storytelling.
Here you go.
He pioneered comedies to be in feature films.
Here you go again. Laura and Ollie utilized the new sound in film, perfecting the comedy duo. Tie my shoes, slave.
Yes, master.
Just tie them together.
Certainly, master.
You tied them together?
Yes. Used impeccable comedic timing, deadpanning, and cleverly placed long pauses. His style shaped the way for modern comedy.
I think I'm a little racist.
What?
Just running in circles. I don't get it. Marathons,
No,
track meets,
that's
I just...
so wrong. No.
Lucille Ball was the first woman lead in television, utilizing the new color in film.
Vita Vita Vegemin.
Oh, Vita Vita Vitamin?
Vita Vita Vegemin.
Vita Vita Vitamin.
Vita Vita Vegemin. Lenny Bruce evolved stand-up to be a free speech genre.
Hey, I got your dog a collar.
My dog died.
Your cat?
My cat died too.
Your fish, perhaps. We're just gonna keep on going. Monty Python's outlandish sketches, abrupt endings, and fourth wall breaks gave the audience a new style of meta-comedy. attracting many young people into the genre.
Paved the way for people like In Living Color, SNL. Which brings us here, from the first Rickroll to Pepe the Frog to the golden age of Vine to shorts and reels.
At the end of the day, we just want to laugh. So we're going to tell some jokes. Maybe they'll work or maybe we'll bomb. Either way, buffa.
Some jokes you shouldn't laugh at, but can.
That's the word, starts with an R.
Ends with an E.
Men mostly do it.
Happens outside.
Women hate it.
That's right. 3, 2, 1.
Rake. Or raking.
Not really funny.
Garden work.
Chores,
It's
chores aren't great. Totally acceptable jokes.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Robin.
Robin who?
Robin, you give me your money. It's kind of smoky in here.
Try this.
That is delicious.
We deep fried your cat.
What?
A blind man needs help.
Help! I can't see! Help!
Of course, sir. Of course.
Did you just turn on a light?
It was dark in here.
What?
A firehouse burnt down. Impressions.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we will discuss leadership through color.
Kanisha, wrap it up.
Blue is determination.
No, it's over.
Red
It's
is
over.
strength.
We failed. We failed.
Green.
Kanisha!
Okay, that is my time. And then there's physical comedy. Hey, you've had way too much to drink. Come on, let's go. Come on.
What, you want to dance?
Hey,
you
come
wanna
here.
Dance?
Come here.
Dance? I didn't mean actually dance.
Oh, get out of here. That has been a very short, but small, smidget and fun-sized history. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Don't take life so seriously. We are not promised tomorrow, so remember to laugh today. Thank you, guys.
Bam. You know, laughter is so good for the soul. It's so great to laugh. You know, when I became a dad, something crazy happened. Like, just dad jokes just started popping into my head. Like, right when my baby was born, like, immediately dad jokes, you know? So I got one for you, okay? What's blue and not very heavy? Light blue. That's a dad joke. Thank you. I got another one for you, okay? Why is Swiss cheese religious? Because it's holy. All right, you guys got that. That's not bad. You know, I'm a trainer too, so I got some gym jokes for you. Why did the Uber driver get kicked out of the gym? Because he couldn't lift. Uber, Lyft, you get it? Yeah? I got one more for you. Okay, why did the farmer get kicked out of the gym? All these people getting kicked out of the gym. Why did the farmer get kicked out of the gym? Because he was killing his calves. Okay, maybe that's enough dad jokes. Hey, you know what's good? Chuck Norris jokes. Chuck Norris jokes are great, okay? All right, I got one for you. Did you know, fun fact, right? Everything about Chuck Norris is fact? Yeah. Okay, fun fact, Chuck Norris, okay, built the hospital he was born in. No? I got one more here, okay? Jesus. Everybody loves Jesus? I love Jesus, okay? Listen, Jesus walked on water, but Chuck Norris swims on land. All right, that's it. I'm done. I'm leaving. Let's bring out our next speaker.
Gee! Whoa! There's some fast puppies. Now, don't embarrass me. You see those 10 dogs out there, right? Yeah. Okay, I feel better. Throughout time, many things get kind of in the shadows or even forgotten. The Nome Serum Run of 1925 is one of those. They were in destitute need of diphtheria serum. And so they were waiting for how to get it there. Such severe weather just crippled the technologies of the day. The airplanes, the trains, even with snowblowers, couldn't get there. So they had to come up with what they could do to restore this hope. They came up with the idea, old school, 20 dog teams to relay this 20-pound package of diphtheria antitoxin to Nome. This was quite a daunting task. And the reason for that is because it was 20 teams a 6-day run, 127 hours, 644 miles to get a 20-pound package of diphtheria antitoxin to Nome. They just weren't sure what's going to happen. But Gunnar Kaasen drives into Nome, Alaska. Of course, the glitz, all the flashes, everything else. The sled dogs have saved Nome, Alaska. Old school stuff. Now, one of the backstories that isn't really told too much, more so today, is Leonard Seppala. He ran 90 miles of that 644, and it was 2 legs because the weather was so bad that he missed his handoff. He drove across the Bering Straits while it was frozen instead of around the land because it saves a day. But him and his team could have sunk into the Bering Straits, cracking through the ice. But the dogs always get us through. They feel and sense things that we cannot. Back in the late 60s, Joe Reddington Sr. and Dorothy Page had a dream. Sled dogs were such a part of Alaskan history that they wanted to memorialize it in some manner. The Gold Rush days are also part of it. They got around by sled dog. So they were an integral part, not just for gold, but survival. And so they came up with this idea of the Iditarod. The original run was from Nenana to Nome, Alaska, which is the blue line behind me. Current day, there's 2 of them, which is the Iditarod trails, which are nationally recognized trails. So in '73, the Iditarod was born. It's 1,049 miles. Roughly, it's 1,000 miles. And people say, what's this 49th thing? The 49th state to recognize Alaska. So they're out there on this trail for 1,000 miles. They're carrying food, they're carrying water, they're carrying emergency supplies. This is a racing sled. They're using actually freight sleds. So it's a little different scenario. There are mandatory vet checks for the dogs. In fact, these dogs are actually fed better than most people. During the winter when they're working, they get higher proteins, higher fats because they need the energy. There's mandatory layovers for the drivers and the dogs to make sure that nobody is pushed to the limit. And you can see beds of straw that the dogs are on. They're treated like kings in so many ways. No, they don't get to come in the house. But Junior Iditarod in 1978 came out, and that's for youths 14 to 17. Everyone that finishes that race will earn some type of a scholarship, and there's many other awards. It's 150 miles that these youngsters are running, so it's quite a feat that they're dealing with. One of the awards is the blue harness, which is the best lead dog of the group. It's voted on by the drivers. And these dogs love to run. There's many people, why do you push them so hard? No, we ain't pushing them at all. They want to run. Plus they get to wear these Prada feet thingies, nice colors. Now, Ellen Reddington, which is the granddaughter of Joe Reddington Sr., she's run the Junior Iditarod. She's written about 3, I think maybe 4 books. North to Nome is about the Iditarod in itself, or the Nome Serum Run. Why am I so interested in this? I used to race competitively for 15 years. I'm there on your left, and that cute little kid, which is out in the audience there, Faith, she's about 40 years older now. And in closing, I'd like to thank the Reddingtons for having a vision to preserve the history of Alaska, the sled dogs. And as a special note, my Uncle Jim, which got me into sled dog racing, but he has also been a volunteer on the Junior Iditarod since its inception. So without those people, this commemorative run would not be what it is today. So look out there. There's all sorts of things to volunteer for and help things and remember the past. Look to our elders. There's a lot to be learned there. Thank you so much and have a great day. G-Come!
It felt like God had forsaken us when my husband had a stroke in our second year of marriage. I transitioned to being a caregiver, and I felt like we were holding everything together with prayer and duct tape. Depression and doubt became my friends because I thought marriage would fix everything. And this is not what I thought marriage would be. I had to reflect on it and think about whether I wanted to stay. I had to ask myself, why did I get married? In my reflections, I had a stroke of insight, and I want to share that with you because about 50% of marriages end in divorce. The main causes, financial challenges, and lack of commitment. I want to share another perspective. We treat dating like a transaction, and we encourage sexual exploration as a path to liberation in this age of Tinder and OnlyFans. It sounds good on the surface until you yearn to have a meaningful relationship and realize transactions don't lead to meaningful connections. I met my husband as a teenager, and he was very shy, and I did what many women do when they meet a nice guy. I friend-zoned him because I believed at the time that I needed to sexually liberate myself as a feminist. What I realized, it was all a lie because I found bondage. I realized that if I believed that my marriage was a mistake, then it meant I believed the lie, because there is no freedom in this wanton sexual exploration, but there is freedom and protection in marriage, because we were never meant to barter our virtues for freedom. My husband and I dated long distance, and we got to know each other and became friends. Many women who date are afraid to discuss their desire for marriage and kids for fear they will scare their suitor away. Dating is a time to discover whether you and your partner are unequally yoked. And I realized that my husband and I dated with purpose. Marriage is a spiritual covenant from God. It was never meant to be a legal contract that promises better tax advantages, therefore limiting the power and purpose of marriage. Marriage is described as a three-stranded cord that is not easily broken because the spiritual connection between a husband and wife is made stronger with God. We are individuals first, and we need to learn how to manage these differences. God was intended to be the cement to bind the two and create a cohesive union that is made strong despite our differences. When we try to manage our differences in marriage without God, it becomes difficult, and that's why so many fail. With God, we learn to be patient with each other, to exercise grace, and to be kind to each other, because there is life and death in the power of the tongue. Many difficult marriages that don't end in divorce become toxic, especially when they stay together for the children. Couples that prolong these difficult marriages, they cause more harm because kids, they transfer that toxicity into their own relationships. Difficult marriages can be transformed by the three-stranded forms of God. And the only way we can have true transformation is if we surrender our need for control. When marriages are healthy, communities benefit from kids who are well-adjusted, who make constructive contributions. They get better grades in school, get better paying jobs. And at the end of the day, we all benefit. When marriages are toxic, hurt people, and the cycle is perpetuated, and communities are destroyed by the very kids who needed the love and protection of a loving home. Our journey was a very difficult one, and it was in reflection that I saw that we planted strong roots and we were able to grow where we were planted. This year we will celebrate 5 years of marriage, and it was really, really challenging for us, but we are now happy and more resilient for it. And now, to any challenge that comes our way, we're ready.
Hi, everybody. I am so nervous right now. My palms are sweaty, my knees are weak, my arms are heavy. I'm surprised that my mind hasn't gone blank and I've walked off this stage already, right? Because that's my fear when public speaking. See, public speaking has always felt like a roller coaster I'd never wanted to ride. For one, I'm afraid of heights, but also it's completely stomach churning, nerve-wracking, right? And most importantly, it's completely out of my control. 75% of the population has a fear of public speaking. 10% are terrified of public speaking. Another 10% actually like speaking in front of people. I just don't think they ever included me in that statistic. I think it often comes down to three common fears. The fear of judgment. What are people saying about me right now? The fear of making mistakes. Did I just say that right now? Or being the center of attention. Literally, all eyes are on me right now, right? The fear of judgment. What if I come up here and I sound just like Napoleon Dynamite? Or while I think I look good in this suit today, what if I feel like I'm dressed just like Jim Carrey in The Mask? How embarrassing would that be? Fear of making mistakes. What if I mess up? What if I mess up? What if I say something wrong? What if I stumble over my words? What if I forget what I was going to say? What was I going to say? Being the center of attention, when all eyes are on you, every small mistake is magnified. You become so self-critical of yourself that public speaking and speaking in front of anybody becomes impossible for you, right? I used to avoid public speaking like the plague, right? I would avoid speaking in meetings, class presentations. I passed up on leadership opportunities time and time again, all because I was scared to do it. But I came to the realization that failure is not an option, right? Giving up and letting this fear take over me was no longer going to be an option. I had to stand up and know that if life kept presenting moments where I had to speak, then I had to come speak. I tried to do unconventional ways, right? Just conventional, unconventional ways like cool running when they're practicing bobsledding in a tub. You know, practice makes perfect. I had to give everything a shot to make sure I can stand up here today. So practice, 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 right? You hear it all the time. You hear Terry say it all the time. Practice in front of small groups, family and friends. Practice in front of the mirror, in front of your dog. Something that's low pressure environment where you can build your confidence up. I had to start reframing my thought process. Instead of saying I'm nervous, I started saying I'm excited, right? Because physically, being nervous and excited are exactly the same thing. Adrenaline rush, shaky hands, arms sweaty, same thing. I also had to let go of the idea of perfection. I thought that being a good speaker meant I had to come up here and never make a mistake. But I realized that being prepared and not worried about being flawless, just like now, you know, mistakes happen. It's not the end of the world. Then 2 months ago, I had to speak at my father's funeral. It was perhaps the hardest thing I've had to do. And it was completely emotional. It was overwhelming, right? Even speaking in front of you guys today without that. I didn't want to come down on stage and speak about my father and break down. I wanted to take a deep breath and remember why I was speaking there. I was honoring him, honoring his memory, his legacy, the memories we've created together and our family. And somehow, I got through it. I think that moment changed everything for me. If I could stand in front of grieving friends and family and speak from the heart, then I can stand here today, and it just felt so much easier today. And that's what happens with fear. It shrinks when you face it, right? Every time I speak, the more confident I become. But what can you do in that moment, right? You just have to embrace the fear. Something that really shocked me was the fact that the audience actually wants you to succeed, right? When I was speaking at my father's funeral, people weren't critiquing me. They were listening to me because they cared. They were listening because they cared. And I think that's true in most settings. So I came to the realization that it's not about making the perfect script and memorizing and impressing people. It's about sharing something meaningful and making a connection. And once I came to that perspective shift, everything changed for me. So here's what I'll leave you with today. Public speaking is not a monster. It's just another skill. Do the thing you fear to do and keep on doing it. That is the quickest and surest way you ever yet discovered to conquer fear. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Mariana. I'm the 17-year-old speaker today. So, do you guys have hobbies? Like hobbies that you've gone through so many times? I mean, like I've gone through thousands and thousands and thousands of hobbies. But today I'm gonna talk about the few hobbies that I've gone through in the last few years of my life. So let's start off with quarantine. Time where it was unspeakable, basically. In your room, bored, nothing to do. And as I was bored in my room with nothing to do, I was just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling on TikTok. And that got me to book talk. And throughout the book talk, it gave me various different genres of books to read. And I stayed in the young and teen adult area because that was like, hello, I'm a teen. So I stayed there, and it introduced me to the Hunger Games series. And I absolutely fell in love, completely obsessed, and I'm still obsessed to this day. I mean, I've read all the books, I've watched all the movies, I've done it all. It's just the feeling of being able to sit in my room and being immersed in the story. It's just wonderful. I love it. Like, what else can you do with that feeling? It's amazing. The next hobby I went through was crocheting, because for Halloween, I really, really, really wanted to be Pete the Cat. I mean, who doesn't? Cool cat, right? So my idea was to make a Pete the Cat little hat, except it was the most angering, time-consuming thing I've ever done in my life. Usually, I don't get angry at little things because they're little things. Why get angry, you know? But actually doing this, I was just, oh my goodness. I don't know if you guys know crocheting, but when you're wrapping that needle around the thread, it has to come out in a straight line, and my line was curved. I mean, like, at that point, I was just like, yeah, I'm done. I ended up wrapping string around a cat headband. I didn't finish the hat, but I mean, like, I got through. The patience that I didn't have, but it taught me something else. I learned, and I realized I can do something if I expand my mind, you know? If you broaden your mind, you can actually change your perspective. Another thing that I got into was sewing. I mean, Valentine's Day was a few months ago. Everyone wants to do something for Valentine's Day for their friends, right? So my bright idea was to make them some shirts, sew them some shirts. One of my friends loves monkeys, so I tried to sew a monkey shirt. But when I tell you, nobody tells you how hard sewing is. I mean, I'm in high school, so obviously I'm a little busy, thousands of extracurriculars, I'm like bouncing my time everywhere. I'm a busy bee, right? But I tried to use a sewing machine, and actually, I watched not thousands, guys, I'm being dramatic, but I watched so many videos. And when I tell you I was in my room stressing out so bad, it was genuinely, the videos make it seem so easy. And I begged my sister to let me use her sewing machine. I was so excited. I finally got that sewing machine, and I was like, wait, I can't really do this. What's going on? But I mean, I didn't finish the shirts. They're still in progress. I will finish them eventually. I mean, it's the thought that counts, right? They'll get them. I mean, they'll get them. They'll love them. I know they'll love them. But it's okay. So you're probably like, okay, her topic is called hobbies to careers. Where's the careers? What's going on? Why are we just talking about hobbies? Now, before I can even think to applying to any college or med school, you have to really think about the implications that my hobbies can give to me. Like, like reading. That gives me the reading comprehension that I need to get through school. I mean, I've been reading since a young age, and I continue to read, and I continue to grow my reading comprehension skills. The crocheting helps me with that patience. I still need a little practice. It will get there eventually. But I mean, the patience that I need throughout my career and my future, that will help me learn, and once I continue. The sewing helps me with my precision and my hand-eye coordination skills that I would need to possibly even become a neurosurgeon in the future. I mean, I have bright goals, I have big dreams, and I really want to get to them. And these hobbies are gonna help me cross that finish line. These hobbies are gonna help me get there. Thank you. Once again, I am Mariana Strong.
I love artificial intelligence. It's terrifying, it's brilliant, and it's unpredictable. It's like a genius child. It has incredible potential, but it can also create chaos. It's already transforming our world. It's revolutionizing industries. It's challenging creativity, and it's raising ethical concerns. Whatever you do with it, whether you love it or fear it, you can't ignore it. The first time I asked an AI to write a poem, I expected something robotic and lifeless. But what I got amazed me. The rhythm flowed, the words had emotion, and the imagery felt real. It made me feel something. It wasn't just code following instructions. In that moment, I realized that AI was more than just a tool. It was something that can challenge the way that we think about creativity. Meet Sarah. She had a routine checkup, and doctors said she was fine. But something was missed, something dangerous. An AI analyzed her scans and caught early stage cancer. And by catching it, it saved Sarah's life. This isn't science fiction. AI in medicine is real. It's detecting diseases faster, improving diagnosis, and changing lives every day. People say AI will replace artists, but what if it makes them better? AI is composing symphonies, co-writing books, helping filmmakers bring impossible worlds to life. It isn't replacing human creativity, it's enhancing it. Imagine Van Gogh with AI, blending human genius with machine innovations, creating something truly extraordinary. Maria had lost her voice after a tragic accident. Doctors said she would never speak again, but AI changed all of that. Using machine learning, it reconstructed her voice from old audio recordings. In the end, AI restored something deeply personal to Maria. Imagine losing your own voice and having an AI give it back to you. That's the kind of technology that gives hope. Emma was a graphic artist. She spent years perfecting her craft, building a portfolio, and working with clients. Then AI design tools flooded the market and became insanely popular. Clients started asking, why should I hire a designer when AI is better and cheaper? The demand for her work faded, projects disappeared, and soon her business was gone. You think you're making your own choices online? Rethink that. AI is deciding for you. It curates the news that you read, the products you see, and sometimes even shapes your opinions. It studies your fears and your desires, and then it uses them to influence your behavior. Think about it. If AI controls the information you consume, how close does it come to manipulating you? Unscrupulous people can use AI to create fake images of videos and of celebrities and political figures. It makes them say things they never said, do things they never did. And these deep fakes, it blurs the line between truth and deception. And if an AI can rewrite reality, how can we ever trust what we see online again? AI can be our greatest ally or our biggest threat. It has the power to cure disease, create art, and solve problems. But it can also start wars, spread misinformation, and deepen divides. AI itself is neither good nor evil. It simply reflects us. The real question isn't what AI will become. It's what we will become. We're at a crossroads. AI is here. It's shaping our world. Will we guide it, or will it guide us? Its future is completely unwritten, and that is why I love AI. Thank you for joining this lightning-fast exploration of why I love artificial intelligence. You guys have a great day.
Raise your hand if you have ever been to the Mojave River watershed. Let me see them. Raise those hands if you've ever been to the watershed. Okay, trick question. All of your hands should be up. We're standing on top of the Mojave River watershed. It consists of the majority of the high desert that we live in and enjoy. My name is Niles O'Hara. I'm the stormwater coordinator for the town of Apple Valley. I am a committee member of the Mojave River Watershed Group, and I sit on the board of directors for the Yucaipa Valley Water District. Some fun facts about me, as you're going to learn tonight: I'm a nerd for water and stormwater and water quality. I once proposed to my wife on top of the Seven Oaks Dam in Highland. I achieved my Eagle Scout at the rank of 14. I'm a son of the high desert. I grew up around here. I know a lot of you are looking at me and saying, I look like my name could be Dora. Well, the reality is my friends gave me that moniker because I've always had a tendency to go off exploring the water and see how it interacts. We're talking about something important here, okay? Polluted water. This is something that affects every aspect of our lives, whether we realize it or not. Sometimes we joke in water, like Joseph's dad jokes, that we're water, we flow by the wayside, but it's important, it affects everything that we do. Endangered wildlife can be adversely impacted by contaminated, polluted water. Here in the high desert, we enjoy a beautiful, delicate ecosystem that relies on a consistent and clean water table. Dying plants. Believe it or not, plants are something that in the scientific community is specifically used as a measuring rubric to gauge the health of an environment. So when we see a significant die-off of plant species, we know there's a problem. Not enjoying the outdoors. Raise your hand if you like to enjoy the outdoors. Raise your hand if you go outside with your family. See all these wonderful hands coming up. Again, this is important. It impacts us. When we have a contaminated water system, we are not able to enjoy the outdoors. A development slump. For you business-minded individuals, for you business and thought leaders here tonight, when we have a contaminated ecosystem, bad water table, we will have difficulties with our beautiful businesses that we have up here in the high desert. We're going to talk about a couple different types of pollution. Point pollution. This is when contamination is being directly introduced into the water table. I want you to think the town of Hinckley, out by Barstow, the Chromium 6 issues, industrial activities putting contamination directly into the water table. Non-point pollution. I want you to think about your neighbor that you have down the street that's always changing oil on the cars and making a mess in the yard and the driveway. Whenever there's pollution that's out on the streets, on the surface, every single rainstorm carries it a little further. Remember, the storm drain system is not treated. What's in the streets goes into the river. Some tips that you can do to help that we're going to review here. One of those: properly dispose of your paint. Cover your trash can lids so that the birds and the wind don't get to it. Pick up after your pet. If you visit our booth, you see that we have those doggy bags that we're giving away. There's my beautiful girls, Cleo and Marcy. I love you girls so much. Picking up after them. Dog waste introduces an unnatural amount of bacteria and viruses into the river via the stormwater flows. Go to a car wash. Support your local businesses, and those systems have a clarifier system so that water with those heavy metals and harsh chemicals is going through a system that cleans it and allows it to be disposed of properly. Recycle your trash. Properly dispose of your fog. Fun fact, fog in our industry means fats, oils, and grease. You want to pour those into containers and throw them in the trash. Every time you put them down the drain or pour them out the back door, it's not good for the system. You can join our forces as what we call from our children's book a stormwater trooper. You can take the residential or the business pledge today. It's not a monetary commitment. It's simply a pledge to say that you're going to help leave a clean environment. Who are we? Again, the Mojave River Watershed Group. Our booth is in the back. We invite you to come by and see us. We are mandated by the state of California. Our mission is to protect the Mojave River and all the plants and wildlife that lives in it. The Mojave River Watershed, as we talked about, the entire high desert, we're all on it. It's over 4,500 square miles of land that drains into this water table. The river itself, mostly underground, flows over 110 miles. You may have seen us before in various outlets and news sources or at high desert cleanup events. As I conclude my words, there's a quote that comes to mind. The earth is on loan from our children. A great man by the name of Bruce Grandland once said, "The business we do today impacts the water that we drink tomorrow." My invitation to all of you here right now, you've heard some beautiful words and we still have a few more heavy-hitting speakers coming out. What will you do next with what you've heard here today, with what you've felt, the inspiration that I know we've all felt? What will you do next? My invitation to you is to make an impact and help us all maintain a clean and beautiful watershed. I'm Niles O'Hara. Thank you. Have a good night.
So ever since I was a kid, I've been taught that people are harmful to nature. That if I want to save our planet, the best thing I could do is minimize my impact and my influence on our environment. That story never really sat well with me. In fact, it created a desert in my heart. But thankfully, I've learned that's not the whole truth. And the more I observe nature, the more I understand how all of the world's problems can be solved in the garden. Now, after 2020, my career as a working musician was put on hold. So I decided to embark on a quest to discover how people can truly live in harmony with nature. I lived in tents, sheds, barns, working on farms, and studying nature everywhere from the Pacific Northwest to the Colorado Desert and even the Hawaiian and Caribbean islands. And gradually, I deepened my relationship with this place we call home. I experienced firsthand how much the land can take care of us if we take care of the land. Now, I was living in a paradise, but I just couldn't stop thinking about the high desert. I couldn't escape this calling I felt that my quest would never be complete until I brought everything I'd learned back home, put my roots down deeper than I ever thought possible, and got to work finding solutions for my family and my community here in the desert. I realized that the process of revegetating that desert in my heart and revegetating the literal desert is one and the same. So I came back home with a mission to partner with nature and to lead our desert into becoming the abundant paradise which God intended us to be caretakers of. I bought 5 acres of dusty rock right outside the town where I grew up, and I got to work putting everything I'd learned to the test, harmonizing the elements moving across that landscape in order to bring life back to that desert. And nature became my greatest teacher. When I made a mistake in my design, nature would let me know very quickly. But when I took just one step in the right direction, nature took 10 steps for me, reassuring me that I'm on the right path. And that place became my living land laboratory. It's now known as Wild Wash Ranch, a demonstration site providing a living example of how we can green our desert at very little cost while harmoniously producing nutritious food crops and livestock. We compost the food waste of over 7 local businesses, creating life from trash. We partner with Victor Valley College to host hands-on educational workshops, farm tours, and camping to anyone wanting to be a student of nature and participate in the true story of our role and our potential here in the high desert. So at first, my family didn't really understand what I was on about, but they could see the fire in my eyes, and it didn't take long until they saw what I saw, and once they did, they couldn't unsee it. So they jumped on board and got their own piece of dirt. Put me to work, turning it into a forest of food that can support the health of our family, our local ecosystem, and provide the freshest ingredients for our restaurant, Cross-Eyed Cow Pizza. I now manage that farm with the help of my whole family and the help of the community. And together, we've planted over 300 fruit trees at a 100% success rate. And we are constantly breeding resilient, perennial superfoods. And we are reintroducing them to the public through innovative recipes, drawing from the culinary wisdom of old. By showcasing our unconventional, locally grown, regenerative produce in familiar, freshly made meals, we are actually reconnecting people to the soil beneath their feet through the unforgettable flavors that are on their plate. And as more people become aware of the beauty and abundance that our desert is capable of, more people are becoming active participants, not just in the conservation of natural resources, but in the creation of natural resources. I'm now convinced that what we need is more people making more of an impact on our environment to create a healthy, abundant future. That's why I founded my co-op, Seeds of Succession, to empower the people of the high desert to become the leaders that our land needs, simply by being who we were designed to be. We're now partnering with over a dozen local businesses, NGOs, and government agencies, and working together to restore the health of ourselves and the health of our lands at the same time. And one of my personal heroes and a pioneer of natural farming is named Masanobu Fukuoka. He always said that the ultimate goal of farming, it's not the growing of crops, but the cultivation and perfection of human beings. And I believe it's our duty to give our Creator a return on His investment, because we were made in His image to tend this garden that He created for us and to elevate creation to a state of beauty consistent with His intentions. So yeah, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago, that's true. But the second best time is today. Let's not just plant trees, let's plant functional farm ecosystems. We can do this, high desert. It starts with each and every one of us putting our roots down deeper than we ever thought possible right here in our communities, in our backyards. We can make food local again. Thank you.
Are you sick and tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm not just talking about the cold that's been lingering for forever now. I mean waking up feeling exhausted. Those aches and pains we chalk up to old age. Headaches that we've learned to live with. When did we decide that just surviving was enough? What if we could thrive instead? I want great, I want optimal, I want outstanding, I want to thrive. How does that sound? Imagine waking up, taking a big deep breath, breathing deeply, moving freely, feeling energized. And let's be real, having that perfect morning poop. That is health. And it's not just for the lucky few, it's for you. Hear me out. We are chronically inflamed. Inflammation is at the root of heart disease, diabetes, autoimmune disorders, even anxiety and depression. Yet, instead of addressing the root cause, we rely on meds, quick fixes, Band-Aid solutions, when food is medicine. But instead of nourishing ourselves, we feel disease. I know you might think, I don't have time to be healthy. I guarantee you don't have time to be sick. So, we're gonna go over 5 simple steps to take back control of your health. Ones that can actually change your life. Step 1, cut liquid sugars and ultra-processed foods. Added sugars from sugary beverages like sodas, energy drinks, juice are the #1 source of added sugar in the American diet. They lead to rapid weight gain and insulin resistance. Ultra-processed foods, they're designed to keep you coming back for more, not to nourish you. So swap soda for water, eat real food, and give your body the fuel it deserves. Step 2, move your body. Exercise isn't just about losing weight. It's about brain function, mental health, fighting inflammation. Just 30 minutes a day. walking, skipping, dancing in your kitchen, whatever it means for you to move. Try this with me now. Put your arms up above your head, take a big deep breath, and roll your shoulders back. Watch your neighbor. Feels good, right? Your body craves movement. Step 3, prioritize sleep. You wouldn't charge your phone to 20% and expect it to last all day. So why do we do that to ourselves? Optimal sleep is essential for immune function and for hormone regulation. So cut the screens before bed, set a strategic routine, and create a nighttime routine that calms you. Your body will thank you. Step 4, reduce stress with breathing and meditation. Chronic stress leaves our body in a fight or flight mode, wreaking havoc on mental health and putting us full of inflammation. Simple exercises such as box breathing, which is breathing in for 4 seconds, you hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold that 4, calms your nervous system in under a minute. This simple tool is free and always with you. Step 5, build strong relationships and community. Loneliness is as bad for your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So, call a friend, join a pickleball group, go to church, have dinner with your loved ones. A study from Harvard found that people with stronger social connections live longer, healthier lives. Community heals. Your health is in your hands. You don't need a crash diet, a magic pill, or an impossible routine. Just start. Just one step at a time. Cut the junk. Move daily. Sleep better. Breathe deeply and connect with your people. Because life is way too short to just survive. You deserve to thrive. Now, who's ready to take that first step today?
Hi. This is a picture of me in high school. And I was kind of a jerk. I really was. I was a jerk and I did a lot of bad things and I knew that I was pretty much headed for hell. I just knew it. I'm going to hell. And then I had a friend who set me down who was a Christian and she said, you know, you don't have to go to hell. And I was like, are you kidding? I know I have to go to hell. No, you don't have to go to hell. And she told me about Jesus and dying on the cross for me and taking my sins. And I believed what she told me. I put my faith in it and I became a new creation. I was born again. And the next day, it was so cool. I was a senior in high school and I'm walking around my school just filled with love. And I'm looking at all my teachers. Oh man, I love you. I love you. And they must have thought I was in drugs, totally. Well, that only lasted a short time. Eventually, I surrendered back to my old life. I didn't get involved with the Christian group. I didn't get any training. And before I knew it, I was back to my old habits and my old ways. I graduated high school, went to Loyola Marymount University, and I was shocked. I had no idea there was so much hate and so many horrible things going on in the world. It just blew my mind, and there were no answers. So I thought, wait a second, I became a Christian. Maybe that's the answer. So I transferred to Pacific Christian College, and I found that that was the answer. Christianity was the answer I was looking for. So I started studying. I studied the Bible. I used to think the Bible was like this religious book. It isn't. It's a blueprint for a new life. It's a blueprint for walking in Christ. I traveled. I went to the Holy Land, and I actually saw some of the places where Jesus was. I took these pictures, and I discovered that the things that are talked about in the Bible happened in real places to real people. It was just so real to me. Well, I graduated from college and I became a pastor. I was 21 years old, was the youngest pastor in California at that time. And I served, and I built the church, and I encouraged people, and I taught, and I grew. I just had this wonderful experience with God and with his people. And I married the most beautiful woman I have ever met there at that church. And God gave us this beautiful daughter. It was outstanding. We were at the top. I was there 9 years, loved the church, loved being there, and then I got fired. And you're probably thinking, wait a second, what did you do? What I did is I stood up to this woman who had kept the church under her thumb. She was a bully. She had managed to control the church, and I told her that wasn't going to happen anymore. And so she got the elders to fire me. So we moved up to the high desert, and I started working at the New Life Christian School. And I went to school at night, got my teaching credential, finished my master's degree in theology, and then I got a job with the Hesperia Unified School District. And I worked for 30 years working with the kids up here in the high desert. God gave us another child, my son. He gave us a home. And we had this fantastic life. Debbie, my wife, and I worked in churches. We served in ministries. And then when my daughter turned 19, she was in a terrible car accident up here in Apple Valley. And we almost lost her. She was airlifted to Loma Linda. She was in a coma and had a traumatic brain injury. And she almost died. The experience just broke me. Up to that point, I really felt like I had my life under control. This experience just shattered me. But God was so gracious to us. He gave us our daughter back. This is a picture of her. She's now also a teacher here in Hesperia and has 2 beautiful children. I retired. My son and I put together this book called God Sent. Now it's a whole series of books. And I've been doing Christian writing. I'm the president of the High Desert branch of the California Writers Club and having this wonderful life serving God. So what does Christianity mean? Number one, it means trust. It means putting your whole confidence in God and not in yourself. It also means truth. This is a picture of my library in my living room, one of my libraries. I love to read, and I've been reading voraciously my whole life. I've read pretty much every kind of philosophy there is. Nothing is more true than what I have found in Christ. Christianity means change. It means transformation. It means always being ready for God to move in your life and push you in a different direction, to open your eyes and expose things and bring you to the place where you surrender more and more of yourself to Him. And lastly, Christianity means hope. We're all going to die. I'm going to breathe my last breath, and so are you. And when I breathe my last breath, I'm going to put my confidence where I've always put it, and that's in Christ. And that is why I'm a Christian.
Thank you.
5 minutes of terror.
Call me Dr. Superwoman. But I keep on falling in and out of love with you. Have you ever felt like in your life you kept falling over and over and over again? How about having on this mask of pretending because you thought that you had to be perfect? Have you ever felt like you had to have the cape of perfection and swoop in and save the day, or am I the only person? Let me see your hand if you've ever felt like that. I want to tell you about 3 times in my life where I had both of those pesky things on and it did not serve me. 30 years ago, I was born not to be with that boy, and yet in high school, I was with him. And he went to jail. A few weeks after being released from jail, I found that that boy and I was in the back of a carriage with both of our wrists mangled in hard, cold silver bracelets as they brought both of us to jail. A few days later, we were released. And then after that release, We did not pass go. We did not collect $200, and we did not use at that time that get out of free jail card because we were playing the game called life. And we landed on a square called marriage. And right after that marriage, the honey quickly left out of the moon. And I found myself in another country with this guy, and it was like I was doing the Fast and the Furious as I was chasing him down the small Japanese roads because there was another episode of Cheaters. Why? I keep on falling in and out of love with food. You see, I struggled with weight my entire life. I lost 83 pounds, and Nutrisystem allowed me to win a contest where they brought me and flew me to the steps of Rocky Balboa. Dun, 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 boom, boom. But later that night, with the cash stipend that they gave me, I snuck off, and I went to that restaurant. I ordered the biggest plate of fried calamari that I could find, and ooh, it was yummy to my tummy, pretending that I had solved the weight loss issue. So then they flew me again to somewhere else. This time when they flew me to shoot a weight loss commercial, I found myself sneaking at every break to gobble up every piece of free Nutrisystem food that I can find. Because that mask of pretending was still on. Except the third time where they flew me out, I could no longer hide because the crumbs were on my face. My face was plump and my body had expanded. But I keep on falling in and out of love with managing my own money. Listen, I had a 6-figure job and your girl was doing well. I left that to go out on my own full time. In the first year, I made 6 figures, traveling the world, doing what I love, teaching people about leadership. Second year, I made over $200,000, but yet the mortgage is not paid. The groceries are on credit cards. Why? Because I didn't even know how to handle, and hold my own finances. I'm teaching everyone else about leadership, and this one right here was not even managing her own self. If you ever have felt like you have worn this mask of pretending, be honest and stand to your feet. I want to see you. This is a moment, thank you. This is a moment of freedom for us. And I know it's more than just the 4 that's up. If you've ever felt like you've had this cape of perfection on, stand to your feet. Because it's keep standing, because we're gonna be free. And for the rest of you all truth tellers in the church, everyone stand. Everyone stand. Get to your feet. I actually mean stand. Yes, get to your feet. Let me tell you why. Because there's a life on the other side. No one ever told us to have the mask on. So I want you to be empowered. So put your hands up in front of your face. Put them up. We're going to rip it, and I want you to fling it. Fling off the mask of pretending that you are what you are not. We're going to empower ourselves. Again, life is not about perfection. It's about progress. So I want you to take off that robe, and mine just got stuck, but I want you to pretend like it's off. And we're going to turn it around. We're going to throw it off. Why? Because we no longer have to sing the song, I keep on falling, because we can choose to have a life of freedom. Put your hands in the air, and I want you to declare, say, I am free. Keep the mask removed, keep the cape off, and walk into your truest life of authenticity and transparency so you can continue to live free. God bless you, and thank you.
Oh, yeah. Great energy, great, wonderful, wonderful evening. Who here's had a wonderful time tonight? Yes. Round of applause, round of applause. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Who here wants to hear more jokes? Hey, sorry, I don't got time for that. Maybe later. Maybe I appreciate you. I appreciate you. This is the evening. Wait, I'm missing some people. I'm missing a lot of people. Hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's welcome our 2025 High Desert Igniters. Woo! Yes, yes, let them hear it, let them hear it, let them hear it. Yes, yes. Hard working, dedicated, took time out of their busy schedules to just share their passion. Yes, absolutely. All right, yeah, awesome, awesome. Take a bow, go for it, yes. Perfect, perfect. At this time, please welcome to the stage the Greater High Desert Chamber staff members. Woo, 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 woo. Don't forget, after party at Mark Creffield's house, the president and CEO of the chamber staff, his house right after this. Let's go ahead and let's welcome and thank Byron Ward with HD Art and Frame. Very nice, very nice. And now let's give it up a big old round of applause to the chair of Ignite High Desert event, Miss Terry Sands. Woo, 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 woo. Thank you, High Desert. This was your 2025 Ignite. Okay, thank you everyone for coming. You've been a lovely, lovely audience. Let's give it up one more time for the event. Let's get a nice round of applause. Drive safely, and we will see you next year.